Hey everyone, What If Fan here, bringing you another exciting part of What If becoming a mangaka in One Piece world. You can find the fanfic title and the original author's name on my Patreon page. Make sure to check it out and show them some love. If you enjoy the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell so you never miss an upload. Quick update. What If Reborn as Gohan in future timeline is now on hold, since we've caught up with the author. So now, I need your help picking the next project for the channel. I'm currently deciding between these three fanfics. What if Transmigrated in One Piece and becoming a Marine? What if Ichigo awoke his powers to save his mother? What if Transmigrated into a nightmare mode Dragon Ball world? Please vote in the poll and let me know which story you'd like to see next. I'll take the top pick and start working on that as the series next. Also check out my Patreon channel for early releases of all the series, where you can find all the series released one day ahead of YouTube. Alright, let's jump into it. Chapter 211, Poseidon. Luffy, you saw it down there, right? Nami, saw what? Luffy, the Golden City. The Golden City does exist. Nami. Luffy, it wasn't a lie. Cricket, I'm not searching for the gold to prove that man's innocence. This, between the man who ruined my life and me, is a duel. Luffy, the Diamond Head Mister's ancestor, wasn't lying. I have to tell him that Noland wasn't lying, and the Golden City is here in the sky. Luffy, if I ring the bell really hard, I'm sure that he'll hear it. Otherwise, he'll keep diving into the sea trying to find this Golden City, and that's dangerous. Nami, Luffy. Luffy, I can't let that bastard Enel get the bell. I have to ring the bell so loud that let everyone on Blue Seas hear it. That's why I am staying here. And ring the golden bell no matter what. Hey, Diamond Head Mister. Do you hear it? The Golden City is here. For the whole 400 years. The Golden City has always been here in the sky. Cricket, hey. Kid. So the Golden City. It's rose all the way up there. Huh? Thanks for telling us. Equals 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 equals. As most people finished reading the full volume, the sound of the bells ringing continued to spread its beautiful sound in all parts of the sky and even the blue sea below. The giant south birds in the sky reacted very enthusiastically just as in the manga, and the same goes for the smaller south birds on Jaya Island below. The scene seemed to the watchers as if the birds of the two islands were dancing and singing with joy when they heard the call bell again. As if something in the genes of these birds was programmed to react in this way the moment they heard the sound of the bell, even though they had never heard it before. Only the snake Nola, who was currently crying and dancing happily in front of Rob, had heard the bell before, because now everyone knows that Nola was the friend of Kalgara and Noland at that time 400 years ago. I see. That's how my story ends, huh? I'll be the only one in my family who will find out the truth with the help of the Straw Hat, Luffy. What a beautiful sound. I hope it lasts forever, thank you Rob-san. What is this? A merchant ship? A merchant ship appeared on the horizon bearing the logo of the World Cruise Company, and after a while, it stopped near the half of the ancient house, and men in uniforms got off and marched towards Cricket and his followers. I suppose you're Mont Blanc Cricket, aren't you, sir? One of them spoke with a kind expression. Yes, I am that person. Cricket showed no signs of nervousness, he had his assumptions after all. This place will soon become a battlefield, it is dangerous to stay here, we have a mission to deliver you safely to the L'Neill country. The muscular man took out his hunter card, which surprised Cricket, his bodyguards, and the rest of the thugs around. This person was a B-class hunter. Okay. War hiccup. A terrifying blue dragon soared into the sky of the Grand Line. It had been soaring for a long time and had just passed into the first part of the Grand Line. The gold, poneglyphs that have information about Poseidon, angels, and warriors, various treasures and secrets. All that will become mine to strengthen my beast's kingdom. In the past, Kaido knew about the existence of the Sky Islands, but he did not know that one of them would have such precious resources. But when he knew that there was all this now, he wouldn't let it go easily even if he was going to fight a fierce war for it. Wararararo. Looks like Roger will go there one day as appeared in the manga. Hiccup. Ah, if you knew what you missed, Captain Rocks, you'd regret your death that day. This era has become more lively. The era in which everyone has the same rights and the same duties. The era of manga. Wararararo. Equals 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 equals. Valgar, can you really decipher that ancient language? Robin, the ancient weapon with the power so strong that it was named after the god. Poseidon? Sky people, an ancient weapon. We have such a thing here. Robin, another weapon named after a god. It's just like the Pluton of Alabasta? All these dangerous things are still waiting to be uncovered. Robin, what a waste of effort. This is not something I wish to learn about. Shandia people, hey, wait. There are some words on the side. Did you see it? Robin, oh? We came here, found the next, and followed its guidance, the pirate, Gold Roger. Equals 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 equals. Jahahaha. High in the sky, floating islands flew towards a known destination, but those on board heard the crazy laughter of the famous golden lion. Gold Roger. So he's been a fake name this whole time. What a cunning fox, Roger, jihahaha. But this time, your former crew member has revealed your little secret. The D clan then, no wonder. Poseidon. There is information about such a weapon. Why didn't you reveal more about the weapon like you did about Pluton? You damned guy. Well, getting the Poneglyph and the Golden Bell is enough for now. I'll get my hands on them for sure. This time it won't be Roger who will get this text to the ending point of the Grand Line. Captain. Looks like we've crossed the red line, we're in paradise now. That's good. We'll be the quickest to get to Sky Island, since we're getting close to Jaya, getting to Skypiea will be a piece of cake. We came here, found the next, and followed its guidance, the pirate, Gold Roger. Roger. Rayleigh. Odin. The rest of the crew. The ship Oro Jackson had come out of the depths of the sea a while ago and was heading towards Jaya Island, which was considered the best starting point to Skypiea, but what appeared in the manga made them look at each other in shock for a long time without saying a word. Wahahaha. My full name has been revealed to the world. Looks like we've already made it to Sky Island in the manga. No need to say anything about Rob who revealed my real name. I've been waiting for that already for a long time. Since the first chapter. When he put my name Gold Roger, and I've been waiting for this day. So I'm not angry. On the contrary, hiding the name no longer has any meaning. I wasn't hiding it in the first place. The world government are the ones who are wrong on my wanted poster. The most important thing now is this text. Poseidon. This will cause a little trouble, although it will be less severe on the part of the world government since Rob did not reveal the location of the weapon. But don't wait for the new world monsters to be calm. Just the name of the ancient weapon will cause a great uproar. Be mentally prepared to enter a fight. We are heading to the epicenter of the conflict. Isn't that better, Captain? We also want to enter the battles. After all, we haven't entered a single since the Alabasta Sea battle. Chapter 212, The Chaos About to Start. What did you say, Katakuri? There are so many fleets of famous pirates in the New World gathering together to cross the calm belt. It's a scenery similar to what happened in the Alabasta Sea War of the past months. Another thing, the news of Poseidon emergence has sent the New World into chaos. Mama. Another big event on the horizon. As expected of Rob, someone like him is making waves of the changes once the manga update comes out. Such a man.
I wonder what it would be like to have sex with him. Hi, it's going to be fun.
Parasparrow, drive the ship faster towards our destination, Jaya Island.
Parasparrow's brow wrinkled after hearing his mother's obscene words, but can he say something to object? He can't. Understood, Mama.
Of course, we wouldn't risk riding the knock upstream or something. My ship is made of parts of my soul.
Making it fly to Skypiea is not a problem at all.
Charlotte Linlin gracefully stood at the front of the ship homie Queen Mama chanter while licking her pink lips as she thought of sucking Rob under her body. Her figure was so alluring and her giant body only added sexy points to her charm. She lowered her hat to her forehead as an excited smile appeared on her face.
Let's be a part of the upcoming event too. We will weave history with the echoes of the Great Bell. The Holy Land, Marigoa.
The domain of the gods was in great uproar at this moment.
You stopped us again. We are tired of your ugly face, you bastard.
Beside him, the celestial dragon guard cried without tears. If he had absolute courage, he would have said this sentence for sure.
Have you ever looked in the mirror before calling someone ugly? Do you know what you're doing, Commander-in-Chief Kon?
You are publicly blocking our path.
Don't you know that even with your high authority you will be mercilessly executed if you be an insult to a celestial dragon? Not to mention that your current actions are much more serious. You are blocking the way for so many celestial dragons.
Hearing that, the world government agents surrounding the celestial dragons shivered. Despite feeling anger at the ugly celestial dragon, which he called ugly, Commander-in-Chief Kon maintained his composure and spoke softly. It's the orders of the 5 elders, no celestial dragon is allowed to leave the Holy Land. You know that the orders of the 5 elders are absolute, right?
The 5 elders is celestial dragons too.
They have no right to stop us from leaving. A celestial dragon spoke with an angry expression. He dreamed of sleeping with a beautiful angel on Sky Island, but he didn't expect to be stopped from leaving, not to mention that his request to set up an escort expedition was also refused.
This made him feel very angry.
Alright, please go to Pangaea Castle and hold the 5 elders accountable for this decision. Once he said that and he gave them a path to go to Pangaea Castle, the celestial dragon's angry expressions turned to fear. They could say anything in front of the commander-in-chief of the world government.
But they definitely couldn't say that in front of the 5 elders. Can you at least tell us why?
There will be a grinding war between pirates on Sky Island. Going to a place like this is too dangerous. Kong paused for a moment as he sensed that those celestial dragons didn't care about the pirates he was talking about.
It was as if they were looking down on them.
I guess you take it simply, the pirates I'm talking about are many times stronger than Enel you saw in the manga. As soon as he said that, the celestial dragons' faces turned pale. After all, they had seen Enel's power. Someone like him who could destroy an island was a terrifying existence.
They couldn't imagine having people much stronger than Enel.
It seems the commotion below has subsided.
Has Kong become more effective in stopping celestial dragons, or am I imagining things? In Pangaea Castle, the atmosphere was extremely bleak and unsettled. And the reason is... well, the reason is very clear. Let's forget those worms now. Regarding the manga, this is too much. We can't take it any longer. I don't see any peace coming as long as One Piece manga publishes chapters.
For the first time, an angry expression appeared in contrast to the indifferent face that Gorosei with a long beard used to show. It's a good thing that he didn't reveal Poseidon's whereabouts this time. It looks like he become more cautious this time, unlike last time.
This volume has shown a lot of information.
Now, everyone knows about Shandora and the Poneglyph, that the ancient Shandians protected it and because of it they are destroyed. If they think only a little, they can associate the enemy that destroyed the Shandora civilization 800 years ago with the world government.
And is that difficult to deduce? Sai, what are we going to do now?
We have no other solution than to continue investing in the manga, Heir of the World, the most effective weapon to counter the consequences of One Piece.
You're right, what's new about that bird, Morgans?
He agreed after we offered enough benefits. I heard he asked for a government license to work as a journalist, but he refused some provisions that allow us to enforce what should be published in his newspaper.
Ha! What an arrogant bird, from manga to journalism. What's the name of the new newspaper?
He's a really ambitious bird. He said its name is the World Economy newspaper. Let's keep a close eye on this guy. He's a cunning bird, but we need him to spread the manga to the new world, indispensable for that.
Upper yard.
The bell has stopped. I suppose it was the teacher who was ringing the bell. It looks like he's here in the upper yard too.
Doflamingo adjusted his glasses and looked in the direction of the giant vine.
Ha ha ha.
I don't know why, but I have a feeling the upcoming events will be fun.
Enel. Looks like you decided to join our team, right? Well, there's no point in keeping this devil fruit with me any longer. Here, eat it.
Doflamingo threw a dark blue grape-shaped devil fruit with various lightning bolt patterns on it and a black stem holding the grapes together.
This devil fruit.
Am I eating it now?
And why did I give it to you, you idiot?
Eat it, things here will be vital later, we don't want a burden.
The tense expression on Enel's face turned serious after hearing Daffy's harsh words. He didn't hesitate after that and ate it straight away.
He didn't even show any reaction to its disgusting taste.
As soon as he ate it, blue lightning bolts formed on his body and vanished as quickly as they had appeared.
Lightning? Oh, man, what is your relationship with lightning? Rosinante stepped forward and asked while staring at Enel.
It tastes disgusting, doesn't it?
How does it feel? Can you summon lightning?
Enel dazedly looked at his hands. He could feel his body becoming stronger right after he ate the fruit, with the thought of two wings made of lightning appearing on his back as his legs and arms turned into bird claws made of lightning as well.
This. A mythical Zoan. Is it Thunderbird?
Daffy has previously read the Encyclopedia of Devil Fruits, so learn about the devil fruit's abilities at a glance.
What a lucky bastard you are. This fruit is more versatile than the lightning fruit. It will only depend on your level of proficiency and effort from now on. With your talent, you will definitely surpass your future self. He gave it to him.
It seems that he followed my idea carefully, a good disciple. Rob was satisfied when he noticed Doflamingo's actions with the God perspective skill. It was his idea for Doflamingo to invite Enel to his team and give him the devil fruit. From the start, Rob was planning to recruit all potential characters into his faction, no matter if they were good or evil. Rob stopped ringing the bell and watching the Doflamingo group, then he refocused his attention on a specific place in the sky.
You don't have to hide anymore, you can go out now. Let's see who you are. Fufufu, not bad at all. Chapter 213, Meeting with the World Queen. That you could discover me within my domain. Fufufu, not bad at all.
The voice seemed to come from another dimension that transcends time and space and fell straight into Rob's ears. Suddenly, the clear sky above Rob turned gloomy and black as if the atmosphere above him had completely disappeared, leaving the blank space creeping into his location. Rob was dumbfounded as he stared at the stars that filled his entire perception without being able to anticipate this scene. Had he not been feeling the ground under his feet, he would have thought he had been transported into interstellar space instead of believing that he was still in the ruins of the Golden City. Amidst the starry sky, an anomaly appeared in space that looked like a rip, and then emerged from it a figure wearing a long black robe with a crown decorated with gold on her head.
It was a woman.
She looked like a sun in the dark space, so it was easy for Rob to see her very clearly. She has fair white skin, red hair like blood but long like a waterfall, and she has long and smooth legs. Then her eyes were the same color as her hair. At first glance, Rob was shocked by the existence of such a super beauty in this world. She was floating in the starry sky as she stared at Rob with a soft smile, but the next moment her forehead clenched and a third eye appeared as a frightening sight. The moment the third eye opened, Rob felt fear for the first time since his arrival in this world. It was uncontrollable fear, as if he was standing in front of a life form higher than himself. Its shape was not frightening, it only made her more beautiful. What was frightening was that the third eye was not a human eye, but rather looked like a dragon's eye.
As I expected. Even with the eye of the beginning, I can't look through you. You are very interesting.
Her voice was so soft it sounded so hypnotic. If a normal person overheard it, it would just become a toy in this woman's hand and he would obey all her commands for life. That's what Rob felt. Rob regained his composure, then his expression turned cold. He already realized his current situation was clearly in danger.
L'Neil country.
Here.
Put it here, thanks for working hard. It's nothing, it's our duty.
In the middle of L'Neil country, so many people condensed at this moment to build something. So many civilians were involved in the construction of this thing that it will likely take some time to build it, but because of the importance of this thing, all the gold owned by the country was harnessed to build these 2 statues. 2 statues of pure gold. This was the thing that many civilians participated in building under the supervision of engineers and specialized sculptors.
Is everything okay?
The person responsible for developing the statues was looking at the drawing of the statues in his hands when the voice of the country's president came from behind him.
The diamond-like haircut was prominent above Harry's head.
It really does look like Mr. Nolan's haircut.
Yes, it should be.
Ha? What did you say?
I'm sorry, I mean everything is going well, don't worry, Mr.
President, we will finish building the Calgara and Nolan gold statues before your son returns.
Upper yard. Back to Rob.
This woman in front of him perfectly matched the traits of the most terrifying and mysterious person in this world.
You are the queen of this world, Emu. Right?
A look of surprise appeared in the woman's eyes, but it did not last long.
She quickly approached Rob until only a few centimeters remained between them.
This entire time his observation hockey had been locked onto her body. The moment she intended to do something malicious, he would explode with all his might to attack. For Rob, the current situation was extremely dangerous. He was trapped within the other party's strange power field without even knowing it, and this alone made him realize that the enemy in front of him was stronger than him. Staying in this place made him slowly lose his senses. If he were to get into a fight, he would undoubtedly be defeated.
You really know my name. Do you know everything about me, or is there a limit to your ability to foresee the future?
Rob didn't know what to answer. He just stood there in silence, staring in shock into a third eye that seemed to be pulling him into a completely different world. Rob's consciousness gradually disappeared from his body as he appeared in a dark domain. The world before him without any stars seemed unlike the power field he was in before. This place had nothing but black space. Rob didn't feel the flow of time in this place. It seemed like millions of years had passed since his consciousness drifted here. Millions of years had passed like this, but his consciousness was not dead and he remained conscious in this space that was devoid of any signs of life. In this space, almost all of Rob's senses had become dull. He couldn't think, speak, or even move. He felt his consciousness was active, but nothing else. Suddenly, a light appeared from a place that seemed far and close at the same time. Stars began to form in the dark space and approached little by little. These changes arrived in the space around him. The closest star that appeared in front of him was a very bright sun. Then a blue planet was formed right in front of him. The planet was very huge, but it was a completely watery planet. Countless years passed and life began to form on the watery planet. It evolved from small fishes to huge sea monsters that covered the seas completely. But one day a huge meteor appeared on the horizon of the blue planet and crashed with it. The blue planet was not destroyed but lost all its water and life and turned into a magma planet instead. The meteorite debris and massive planet debris combined into a smaller planet near it, eventually forming the moon. The planet's size shrunk and life on its surface almost became extinct. But with the passing of an incredible number of years, the sky began to rain on the planet, and the seas returned to fill all parts of the planet. But this time land appeared in different parts of the planet. Plants began to grow on the islands except for one place, a huge red continent that separated the planet into 4 halves. Life began to appear again and flourish, and various types of sea and land creatures appeared on the surface of this planet, but there were no intelligent beings yet. But one day another meteorite fell on C's planet, but this time it was so much smaller that it didn't cause any obvious damage. But after many years passed, a black tree began to grow from the same place where the meteorite fell. It turned out that it had been growing all this time under the sea, and eventually the branches of the huge tree came out of the sea and covered a large part of the planet. This huge tree has produced living creatures. They were devils. Those devils in this world are too overpowered. With their various supernatural abilities they have turned the living creatures in the world into food for the mother tree, the tree of devils. The era of devils lasted millions of years.
but one day they all suddenly disappeared incomprehensibly. The Tree of Devils too. It seemed as if the world before was in the Devil's era, but it turned into a different era in a second. Before that, it was a world infested with devils. After that, it became a world full of humans who possess an advanced civilization and various other creatures such as fishmen, minks, giants, dragons, and many others. Even the moon appeared on it, creatures that resembled a mixture of humans and angels, and they had their own civilization as well. The previous world looked like an incomplete demo version of a game, but the current world was a complete version of the same game. Thousands of years passed and wars began that annihilated all parts of the world through the ages. There were eras in which humans ruled the world, and other eras in which giants ruled, and other eras in which sea creatures ruled. With the passage of each era, everyone was striving for one thing, which is to rule the world. Of course, all this time everyone had been using the so-called devil fruit whose origin no one knew in the first place. It could randomly appear anywhere. And the one who eats it will be cursed by the sea, but he will get the power of the devil. The world continued to experience some surprising and strange changes, as if an imperfect game world was still being modified. Or, more accurately, it was the manga world that was changing every second. Every change the author makes applies to the whole world. Your soul didn't disappear under the influence of the Eye of Beginning. What are you? When Rob was immersed in the reality of the world, his consciousness returned to his body again. Rob felt like it was an eternity to him, but everything he saw up until now was still imprinted in his mind. Countless eras had passed on him in that domain, and he witnessed things that didn't make sense even to him. What have you done to me? Rob felt a horrific pain attack his head but managed to resist it and look at the terrifying woman in front of him. Your consciousness has not disappeared in the beginning domain. What are you? Her face came very close to his as if she wanted to see through him desperately, but unfortunately, she couldn't. It just became more and more mysterious. She didn't intend to kill him after she practiced the previous mental attack on him, because even if his consciousness disappeared, she had measures to bring him back. Well, how could she kill her only source of entertainment? All she wanted to do was test him and understand the source of his mystery. After all, she was always the type who didn't like any mystery. Rob regained his composure and quickly turned away from her, and then turned his body into lightning and got into an alert stance. He was ready to engage in a life-or-death battle against this woman to show that he wasn't weak. Calm down, Rob-chan, I'm not here to fight you, I just wanted to say hello, hee. Rob-chan. Rob didn't know how to react to this strange situation. Chapter 214, Level 15 of the system. Hee. I'm looking forward to the next volume. This volume, although it wasn't the best, it revealed a lot of mysteries and interesting and dramatic stories, and that's a point for you. I didn't know that the Queen of the World liked my book. It's an honor for me. After talking to this woman for some time now, Rob realized that she wasn't as scary as he had imagined. It wasn't difficult to have a conversation with her. And she also liked the One Piece manga so much that she acted friendly with the author, and this gave Rob the courage to ask a lot of questions. Let me ask a question. Are you really as world government manga embodies you? You mean I'm Asuna? What a joke, that character is so far from my character. I'm looking forward to seeing you embody me in One Piece. If you can embody my character in One Piece as it is, I promise I will fulfill one request for you no matter what you want. For such a beauty to make such a heavy promise was something that would drive most men crazy, but Rob was quiet about it, his caution towards this beautiful woman being at an extreme. And this is what Imo noticed, but she didn't care. It's normal for a strong person to feel wary of her. This is just proof that he is a strong guy and can sense danger from her. If he is weak, then he can't sense anything until he dies without knowing how he died. Well, we can consider it a fair deal. All you have to do is wait until then. You know something, Rob? You are a very special person. Rob was relieved to hear that she didn't call him Rob-chan like she used to and agreed to just call him by his name only, but he's still curious about why she called him someone special. You are the only light that deserves to be extinguished more than anyone since the beginning of the history of world government, but somehow I cannot think of extinguishing you at all. If you're not special, what are you? Rob knew very well why this woman refused to eliminate him even though his threat was even greater than that of Joy Boy. Simply because he is such a big variable in this story,
He was the only source from which they could see the future so accurately, someone who could mess up the cards of the world's most mysterious existences.
The time and the destiny. Entering the beginning space and staying conscious, this still makes me confused. Can you tell me what you saw inside? She was very curious about this exact point. You don't know what your ability shows?
It seems strange, but you are right, I don't know. I have never entered the beginning space before. If I will definitely die inside.
I don't understand why you stayed alive there, but from what I know, I might have seen some phenomena in the beginning space. Can you tell me what you saw?
Well, I glimpsed the birth of the world. Of course, that wasn't just enough to describe everything he saw within that mysterious space, but it was enough to make Imu in front of him feel shocked, which she quickly hid well.
Do you know everything about the origin of the world now?
It's not as simple as you think, but I've already seen a lot of things that are still etched in my mind. There are so many secrets that this world hides that I still don't know. No human can know everything, but your previous attack on my mind helped me know a lot, thank you. Oh, you are so kind to even thank the person who attacked you with a deadly attack. I still insist that you need to be careful next time. The more I care about someone, the more I want to kill him and make him one with me. Rob got goosebumps after hearing what she said. The problem was the way she said it. Rob felt that this beauty was a real problem that he needed to get away from her. Obviously, she's stronger than him and has more knowledge than him. He can't compete with her in either of those 2 points, so the entire time he had been feeling danger in her presence. Surely after this day, he would double his training.
Well, I guess it's time for me to leave.
It was nice meeting you, but don't think it's our last meeting.
We will definitely meet again.
Before that, you should know that my protection won't last long. When your manga damage reaches an irreversible point, I can't do anything either. You have to fight your way with them if you want to continue publishing the manga. As soon as she said the last word, she disappeared as if she never existed in the first place.
I think this system is the only solution to the problem of lack of information. Ding!
Plus 15,000 art points from the World Queen Imu.
Ding!
Plus 6,500 art point from GOLD Roger.
Ding!
Plus 4,000 art point from Rayleigh.
Ding!
Plus 5,000 art points from Charlotte Linlin.
Ding! Plus 100,000 EXP. The system has been upgraded.
Level 15 of the system, 12,000/1600000. Plus 10 additional art store. Art stores available to use, 79/150.
Unlocking a new feature. System store restrictions cancelled.
Huh? Cancelled?
Where is the new feature? Even Rob was very dumbfounded at this moment.
Clarification: the new feature is for one use only. Once used, it will cancel any specific restrictions set by the system. From now on, the host doesn't need to worry about how to finish One Piece because Manga Jump magazine is now available in the system store.
You mean? Rob almost couldn't control his emotions. If what the system said was true, then his lucky day had finally arrived.
The familiar system store window appeared in front of Rob and he quickly searched the manga section. He quickly found what he was looking for. Any manga from Earth civilization was right in front of him. Once he spent points, he could buy them all. This section is updated at the same time the update comes out on planet Earth.
Rob searched for One Piece manga and was not late to find it. The Wano arc is almost over.
You came to this world when the Wano arc was in its middle stages. Rob couldn't hold back the rising enthusiasm in his heart, but he quickly succeeded in doing so and cancelled the system store window. He still has unfinished works here. When it's all over, he'll revise all the chapters he's definitely missed.
Finally, it's time for him to enjoy reading manga instead of just making others have enjoyed it. Chapter 215, Garp vs Big Mom Pirates. The legend is repeated in the real world.
Why is there ice here? Big Mom stood at the front of the ship staring at the horizon as the sea in front of the ship was completely covered in ice, although she could see Jaya Island at the end of the ice.
Mama! The Navy is besieging this place, what should we do?
Navy?
So then, do they think they can stop us from getting to Skypiea in this way? Mama. They must be delusional. We don't have to reach Jaya to go to the sky, isn't it, my children? Yes, Mama. Zeus. Come out for me. Hi, Mama.
Suddenly, a small cloud with eyes and a mouth appeared which made it possess the expressions of a human. This was Zeus, a thundercloud made of Big Mom's soul. Charlotte Linlin put her hand on Zeus and then injected additional spiritual power into him, causing Zeus to show an expression of ecstasy.
Transform into berserk mode and fly the ship into the sky, Zeus. With pleasure, Mama.
The ship was stuck in the ice, so there was no sea water to disturb the progress of this plan. With the added spiritual power from Big Mom, it wasn't difficult for Zeus to carry the entire ship and float with it, and that's what actually happened. As the ship flew into the sky, Big Mom laughed and said something provocative about the Navy, who didn't hear it anyway, or as she thought.
Mama. All your efforts to stop me are useless. Are you sure about that, Charlotte Linlin? In front of the ship that was already floating hundreds of meters above sea level, a muscular man stood in the air using moonwalk skill at its peak of mastery, making him appear to be standing in the air. He was looking at Big Mom with a look that contained pure mockery. Who is that? Ha! It's you! After 2 weeks of boring waiting here, a big fish has finally arrived. How about going on an all-expenses-paid trip with me and your children to Impel Down? Linlin's expression turned awful after hearing that.
You must be kidding, Garp.
If you have the power, go ahead and do it. Prometheus. Napoleon.
Linlin gracefully jumped off the ship and she landed on the huge body of Zeus that was carrying the ship. Beside her, a blazing sun appeared with a malicious facial expression, and in her hand, a savage sword appeared from her pink hat. Big Mom stood there in a frightening fighting position. She knew how powerful this man was, who had brought down even her former invincible captain. That's why she gathered her peak strength from the start.
Wahahaha.
Not bad, but that won't excuse you from going with me to Impel Down anyway. Garp's expression was indifferent as his fists turned black and he exploded with terrifying strength toward Linlin.
Boom! Mama!
The crushing power collision between Garp's fist and their mother's sword literally made the sky split, but the straight sword soon turned uneven due to Garp's fist. The immense strength in Garp's fist was powerful enough to flatten mountains, let alone a sword. Even if this sword was made from Big Mom's powerful soul, it meant nothing to Garp. Linlin turned back and stared at Garp in horror. Garp was at the peak of his power while Big Mom had not yet reached his peak as one of the 4 emperors, which was why it was clear who was the victor and who was the loser, but even so, the outcome would not be determined so quickly. In the next hours, the battle continued between Garp and the desperate Big Mom pirates facing only one man. The battle even affected the ice below, which was shattered by the force of the shock waves. On the other side of Jaya Coast, Kuzan was using his ice to besiege several fleets of pirates who came not only from the New World but even from Paradis. The sheer attraction of the Golden City was literally irresistible. The strong cannot resist it. Even the weak could not control their greed for such a treasure the size of a city. Not to mention pirates, even ordinary humans couldn't control their greed for such a treasure. Sigh, annoying. Era RA, looks like more is coming. Kuzan exhaled a breath of cold air and his eyes shone with a kind of bone-piercing coldness. Beside him the Marines subconsciously shivered.
This man was a real beast in the skin of a human being.
That was what was on their minds at the moment. An ice sword appeared in Kuzan's hand and ran from the coast of Jaya Island along the ice ground towards every pirate ship stuck in the ice. Most of the ships were empty after their passengers, who had gathered in groups for walking on the ice ground towards Jaya. But suddenly the sky in the area darkened. The sudden darkness occurred in broad daylight, causing hundreds of pirates to feel déjà vu and an uncomfortable feeling build up in their hearts. But this didn't last long as Kuzan arrived and started harvesting the pirates one by one like wheat. With just one wave of his sword, the veins of the victim are instantly frozen and they fall unknown their life or death. Even Kuzan noticed the day turning into night, and felt uncomfortable about it. But he still had to do his duty and defeat all these pirates before retreating from this place. Suddenly, the icy ground began to crack and separate from each other in a chilling sight.
This. Is it an earthquake in the sea? How is that? Aren't we standing on the ice that Vice Admiral of the Navy made? That has nothing to do with the seabed. Something's not right. Am I the only one who feels something is about to explode down below? Don't tell me?
Kuzan stopped the massacre of the pirates as danger bells were exploding in his head. His strong danger instinct was warning him to get out of this place immediately.
Damn dash. Boom.
Before Kuzan could react, a massive explosion occurred as the knock-up stream exploded just below them, sending them on a free trip to the sky. A large piece of ice that was at least 10 kilometers in size and contained hundreds of pirates, dozens of marines as well as Vice Admiral Kuzan, broke apart and soared into the sky above the rising stream. Just like the way half of Jaya flew to the sky in the past. A huge piece of icy land pierced the clouds and the White Sea as well as the White Sea and eventually settled near Angel Island. In a horrific scene that made everyone who witnessed it stunned, the attention of Scythians and also the few inhabitants of the Blue Sea here has been attracted toward the icy island that appeared out of nowhere near their island. Their minds were unable to explain the current situation, but a similar scene they saw 2 weeks ago in the manga came back to life in their minds.
The legend has been repeated. Kuzan.
Below, the battle between Garp and Big Mom paused after the rising stream explosion caught their attention.
What's happening?
The stunning scenery of knock-up stream connecting the sky with the sea still stands. Even the Big Mom pirates who were on the opposite side of Jaya could see it very clearly.
Mama, this is our chance to escape. The Ice Vice Admiral and quite a few pirates were sent to Sky Island by that rising stream.
Only Big Mom heard this voice message from one of her sons, but Garp didn't know the situation very well, so he thought Kuzan was either blown away or dragged by that rising stream at a disadvantage. With that explosive power, he could sense that even he would be reduced to drops of blood if he were directly exposed to that powerful explosion, not to mention Kuzan, who was much weaker than him. Naturally, Garp did not want the Navy to lose such a talented kid and future admiral candidate. Garp temporarily forgot about Big Mom's group and shot off like a rocket towards the opposite side of Jaya. This allowed the Big Mom pirates to run toward the clouds above. If this incident had not happened, they would have truly fallen here today at the hands of this invincible beast.
Chapter 216, Nolan's Spirit. Oh, God. What on earth is that?
A 10-kilometer-sized crater appeared in the middle of the frozen sea, as seawater began to seep into the huge crater and fill it again. After the updraft ended and disappeared, a bottomless abyss formed in the place of Kuzan and the rest of the former pirates, but soon seawater began to fill the huge abyss. Even Garp, who was seeing this from the sky, was dumbfounded by the shocking phenomenon. Garp looked towards Jaya Beach and saw the marines who had not left with Kuzan to fight the pirates. Then using sorrow he disappeared from his place and appeared on the ground again.
What happened here? Where did Vice Admiral Kuzan go? Ah! It's Vice Admiral Garp. Thank goodness, you're safe. Vice Admiral Garp. So you are saying that he entered the battlefield to suppress the pirates but did not return?
Garp's brow creased at this moment. His mood was extremely bad.
Yes, Garp-san, that's exactly what happened. We saw with our own eyes that this huge piece of ice flew into the sky with Vice Admiral Kuzan and dozens of our brothers as well as many famous pirates of the New World on board.
Sai, looks like the Big Mom pirates took the opportunity to escape.
Well, let's forget them now.
Garp took out a small den mushi for personal communication, then used it to contact headquarters, exactly to his old friend.
Sengoku. We have an emergency. How can an emergency happen while you're there? Aren't you playing with the Big Mom pirates? Or did Whitebeard or Roger come personally? No, it's not.
There was a sudden natural disaster that confused our situation.
Can you check out Kuzan's life card for me? Kuzan?
What the hell happened to him? Sengoku ran towards a special locker in the Fleet Admiral's office room, containing life cards for almost all the higher forces in the Navy. When he opened the locker, his eyes went straight to the Vice Admiral's part. He didn't breathe a sigh of relief until he found Kuzan's life card intact with no traces of burn.
Garp, you bastard, you scared me. Nothing life-threatening happened to Kuzan, he's perfectly fine. Where is he now? He's not with you, isn't he? What kind of natural disaster can confuse someone of your caliber? Wahahaha. He's fine.
That's good then. it's not easy for someone like him to die anyway. You're right in assuming he's not with me, he went on a free trip to the sky.
What nonsense are you saying? Ah. It's really unbelievable, but that thing that happened in the manga, what is it called? Ah, yes, that knock-up stream that carried half of Jaya to the sky 400 years ago.
The same thing happened with Kuzan, he and several pirates on his icy ground were dragged into the sky. I suppose he's enjoying his time in the sky now. Sengoku on the other side of the line felt speechless, he didn't speak until his mind finally processed the situation.
About Kuzan will be fine.
He's a vice admiral after all, so tell me what happened with the Big Mom pirates, did you manage to capture them?
Ah.
Sorry for that, they managed to escape.
Garp, you old bastard.
Didn't you say you could take down at least one great crew and stop them from going to Sky Island? You're doing this on purpose for sure. Didn't the 5 elders say that contributing to protecting the Scythians was a good opportunity to get close to them and
catch up? So annoying. The 5 elders again. Don't they know that as long as that man is in Sky Island, no one will be able to destabilize there? They want to include them in the world government after they appeared to the world. What a joke.
At this moment Garp was sitting on a sea king that had fallen from the sky onto the icy ground while laughing at the stupidity of the 5 elders.
Grand Line, Drum Kingdom. Are you sure you want to go? And why don't I go? It's not like you don't know the Grand Line sailing conditions, aren't you sending yourself to die in vain in this way?
Yes, Heroic-san. You're sending yourself to your death. The Grand Line is a dangerous place, please reconsider this decision.
We will really miss you, Heroic-san.
Although your medicinal treatment is really bad and has a chance of killing someone, you are an important person to our kingdom, we don't want you to die.
You can go, but don't come back. Ah.
I mean, I hope you come back with good medical knowledge. Heroic's eyes were wet as he listened to the crying of the villagers unwilling to let him go, but his expression froze when he heard the last 2 people who seemed happy to his leave.
Ha 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 ha.
Even though your situation has greatly improved because of the manga, it's hard to change your reputation as a quack doctor.
You old witch. Captain. Calm down.
Yes, she must be joking, Captain.
Shall we sail now, Captain?
Dr. Heroic was on a well-designed ship, where he had already assembled a crew for his upcoming expeditions. After reading the Sky Island arc and in particular the flashback of Mont Blanc Noland, Heroic was so moved by the spirit of Noland that he seemed to have gained an inexplicable impetus to travel. Noland was a good doctor who saved the Shandians' race from perdition due to the tree plague and also an entire island from death. Not only that, but it can be said that he saved the Scythians' race from perdition because if it were not for him, the infested island would have ascended to the sky and all who come into contact with it would die. For the Scythians instead of the Holy Island it would have been true hell.
Such magnanimity and kindness made Heroic's heart pound. He decides to become like Noland.
Although Heroic once admired his future character in the manga. After seeing Noland's story he found that even his future character was very deficient in comparison.
He wasn't as strong as Noland.
He wasn't a qualified doctor like Noland. Although he devoted his entire life to providing spiritual healing to the people of the Drum Kingdom. He just created the Sakura mixture that can create a very beautiful sight that removes all one's sorrows once seeing it. However, in the end, he wasn't like Noland, who was a real doctor who saved people's souls and made them even change their beliefs about the gods. Influenced by Noland, Heroic decides to go out to sea again and undertake expeditions to fill his knowledge of medicine, and he will advance in his field only in this way. After getting out of his train of thoughts, Heroic turned and looked at his crew who were like him. Doctors and adventurers who were touched by Noland's pure spirit and wanted to become like him. They were all excited about adventure. They weren't afraid of the horror of the Grand Line. What more would happen to them than death? Wasn't it just death? Even someone as great as Noland didn't fear death. Why would they fear it then? If they die, so be it. At least they died in pursuit of a noble cause. Let's sail, guys. From now on we'll be the Noland Medical Research Team.
Yeah.
Of course. Let's sail. Before Drum Island vanished from their line of sight, they were drawn in by a rosy glow that enveloped the snowy sky.
It's beautiful. It's the same sakura blossoms mist that appeared in the manga. Captain, isn't that?
Hirolik was crying silently at this moment. He realized that old witch had finished making that alchemical mixture for him.
Come on, guys, don't forget we'll be back, this is our home after all.
Not only Hirolik and his crew were affected by Noland, but all over the world, many adventurers appeared who had the same goal and the same belief.
On the Winter Island. That's enough. I think he got the message. That's why he's coming back.
Behind her, the men brought back the cannons they used to blast the sakura mixtures from whence they came.
The other villagers were enjoying this wonderful scenery that they could not see every day. Oh my God, how beautiful.
I feel like all the resentment in my heart has been washed away by this scene.
Me too. Just awesome. Chapter 217, Reading Wano Arc to the end. It's not like it was unexpected. But in the end, Luffy is Joy Boy. It turns out the rubber fruit isn't paramecia. It's a mythical Zoan model, sun god Nika. Doesn't that mean the 5 elders know all of that? But why didn't they have any reaction when they saw the same fruit in the manga? Were they not the ones who gave it the rubber fruit name in the first place? Don't tell me. That's how it was then, I understand now.
I've been in the dark about the malice of the world government this whole time.
This is tragic. Lack of information has made me a real idiot all this time.
Inside his personal section of the art store on Angel Island, Rob was deep in his thoughts while reading the chapters of Wano Arc piled up in front of him on a small mountain. Without a doubt, he felt sorry for himself after discovering the deception he had been exposed to all this time. He has just arrived at the event of Luffy's resurrection as Joy Boy and awakens the rubber fruit to reveal the true type of devil fruit with that sun god Nika. Isn't that the same god that Shandians worship? I need to inquire about this matter in Shandia City. It's been 2 weeks since he published the Sky Island volume. Of course, he wasn't unemployed in those 2 weeks, but he was moving from place to place to finish his backlog. In addition, he continued broadcasting the weekly episodes of One Piece, Naruto, and HXH, which are still very well received every time they are broadcast. But the most important thing in Rob's schedule was reading the chapters of the One Piece manga that he finally managed to buy after the system shop limitation was unlocked at level 15. After meeting with the most dangerous being on the planet, Emu, Rob realized that his lack of information about this world was very dangerous. Dangerous for his safety, and his family, and most terrifying, dangerous for the entire world. As is well known, almost all shonen stories have one thing in common. And One Piece is one of the pyramids of shonen. The final enemy is a danger on the apocalyptic level. And this is very evident in Naruto, where Kagaya represented this level, Bleach also represented by Yelwatch, and even the first part of HXH where Maruam played this role as well, even though the latter became popular after his death, and lots of other shonen stories that have the same point. And One Piece cannot be an exception to this rule. As soon as Rob met Emu, he immediately realized that the woman in front of him was an apocalypse-level danger. What does this mean? This means that its level is far beyond what is called the peak of this world. Emperors and admirals cannot be mentioned in the same line as her. He's had this premonition since seeing how many arc points he gets from Emu alone every time. She was the only person who broke through the 10,000 barrier in this world. Neither Roger, nor Whitebeard, nor Garp, nor Sengoku, nor even Gorosei was able to reach her. But after seeing her, this premonition became real. When it attacked him with her third eye, his soul had no resistance to that strange pull force. What does this mean? This meant that his immortality was not invincible. Although he had discovered that his soul was also immortal after being able to live millions of years in that space called the beginning space, he had already realized that his soul also was immortal, but that's only, despite being immortal, his soul was very weak compared to her, or Emu's soul wouldn't have been able to influence him so easily. From what I can see, Emu and the 5 elders have realized that my knowledge of the future is incomplete, so they kept quiet about some important facts and played fool's role who enjoy manga. But they certainly did not warn that my incomplete knowledge could one day be complete. Rob continued reading the advanced chapters of Wano Arc, enjoying the rhythm. He was surprised to learn that Kaido has a daughter named Yamato who would become one of the Straw Hats, and even more surprised to learn that Big Mom contributed to the making of the so-called Kaido the Beast by giving him devil fruit. Ha 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 ha. Sanji is ridiculous in front of women as usual, but Black Maria, this one is really so pretty.
Well, no comparison with Emu. Sigh.
He seemed very clear now about the matter of his soul's weakness, otherwise, he wouldn't be easily affected by the other party's beauty.
God fruits.
I am now well aware that it is the only solution to raise one's spiritual power in this world. The so-called god fruits are all mythical Zoan related to a specific god, and Rob already knows some of them and even has one in his hands.
Exciting.
Does my Robin's flower fruit have such a demonic ability, or did the way Robin developed it lead to that? He made sure of many facts that were just hypotheses before reading the accumulated chapters, including that all devil fruits, no matter how weak they are, can be upgraded with continuous development.
Is this really the end of Kaido and Lin, I wonder? Sai Wano arc. What can I say about it?
He's definitely great but still not complete. Let's wait and see where it goes. Rob has transcended his off-feel of comic abilities of the so-called Sun God fruit.
Eventually, Kaido falls into the lava to escort Big Mom.
From what Rob knows at this level of strength, it's hard for Big Mom and Kaido to die just by drowning in lava. He even didn't think that Law and Kiddo's efforts could really bring down Lin, but he didn't think much about that. After reaching this point, anything could happen.
After all, after entering the beginning space, Rob realizes that the creator of this world is really Oda.
But the fact that the Onigashima battle is over is indisputable.
Is that Momonosuke in his adult form? Looks majestic. Why do I feel like I've done a crime against Wano? And how do I explain all this to Toki in the future?
Only now did Rob realize that the situation he had thrown himself into was so bad. He wasn't interested in Odin and Neptune's reaction when they found out, but was more concerned about Toki and Otoheim's reaction. About Judge, Rob didn't think of him in the first place.
If he dared to say something, Rob has no problem with destroying him and his kingdom. Never mind.
I never forced anyone to love me in the first place. At that time they can do whatever they want. Since he was in his personal section, no one could hear him, so he was saying all his thoughts in a clear voice. Enjoying reading the chapters and analyzing their important points with himself was a habit of his old self when he was still on planet Earth. Rob has never forgotten his true origin despite his merger with Rob of this world. All these customs constitute his true person and were the essence of his personality, including gathering women around him, admiring beauty, employing maids, and cherishing what he had. All these qualities, however decadent and immoral, they still make up the person that he was. He will remain the same no matter what happens. If he changes one day, he will no longer be the same person.
After meeting Emu, was Rob afraid of death? Of course not. He couldn't die anyway, and even if he could die, someone like him didn't know fear even when he was just an ordinary mortal in the previous world. But that didn't mean that he wasn't afraid of losing. He just spent a lot of time getting everything he had so far and didn't want to lose any of it because someone was stronger than him. The power. After meeting Emu, Rob realized that he was too weak and most of his plans against the world government were basically futile. The only thing that could give him the power to somehow surpass Emu is the system, so he has to return to focus on spreading art without any external distractions. Art points from manga and anime become less and less with time. Do I need to prepare new manga and new animes, or do I have to look at another art type?
With time he began to notice and understand his system more and more. The art publishing system was much deeper than it appears on the surface.
Chapter 218, Sky Island Guests. Ohara, Art Palace.
Water vapor covered the vast bathroom, but it definitely couldn't hide the beauty of the heavenly bodies of the women group who were enjoying a refreshing bath inside the hot springs. In this place, bathed the beautiful store goddesses who were the dreams of countless men, even though the dreaming too was sin itself because they're the women of the terrifying Sky Sword and no one else. Even after all this time, the tension in the world hasn't decreased because of the previous One Piece volume. What do you think, girls? It's not easy for them to calm down after another name for one of the legendary ancient weapons appeared in the manga, Poseidon. Also, the world before the release of that volume was ignorant of the existence of Sky Island in the first place. Rouge looked at Alvia and answered with complete conviction. From time to time she stole glances towards the blonde mermaid as if she had some speculation related to this mermaid's race when she said the name of the ancient weapon. Even I was surprised by the existence of Sky Island. What Rob-sama did turn people's worldview upside down, so it's not easy for everyone to accept it easily. They still need more time to accept it. And the appearance of the so-called gold lovers made matters worse. Toki was combing her soft green hair while saying these lines. Her beautiful boobs soaked in warm water make her be at her peak attractive, and any man could be made to fall in love with just one look. When I first read One Piece manga, I didn't think it would reach this point and reveal so many secrets around the world.
Rob-sama made me realize how ignorant I was.
It's normal for the people of this world to feel nervous as the story progresses.
Even you, Sora.
Alvia was listening to all of her sister's words because after all, their thoughts were important to her to help her husband. At the time when I saw myself killed by the pistol of Arlong, who was a sea demon, I had never even thought of his existence. My mind was utterly stunned. Had it not been for Nami and Nojiko in the story and my role as their mother, I would not have regained my senses so quickly. Their presence in the story made my emotions mature from a child to an adult. Gloriosa was combing Bella's dark red hair when she was surprised by her words, which seemed to carry a large amount of complex emotions.
Have you ever wondered? What will the human children think after seeing someone like Arlong, who represents the fishmen race, brutally murdering a human? They will be terribly afraid of everyone from fishmen, right?
Otoheim's body trembled after hearing this. She wanted to say something but fell silent when she saw Belmere continue. When I met the current Arlong, who was still just a child, and Mr. Tiger, I realized that Nami's journey with her friends would one day reach Fishman Island for sure. At that time these children would know that fishmen and humans are two sides of the same coin. Belmere wiped a small tear that formed on the side of her eye, but a beautiful smile appeared on her face. Good and evil exist in all races, and Big Brother Rob shows it all to us, just as it appeared in Noland and Calgara's story and Dr. Hirolik's story in the past, and Laboon's story as well. I think more such stories are coming in One Piece. It all depends on how far Big Brother can see from the future. Otoheim sighed when she heard it all. Just a big smile on her face is enough to describe her current feelings.
You still call the husband a big brother, he. You really deserve to be beaten.
Ah. That hurts, Sister Alvia. Wait, don't touch me there. They still haven't reached your size, you know. On.
Ha ha ha.
You lack nothing but courage, just like the rest of your sisters. Sora, Toki, Gloriosa, and Otoheim were embarrassed, while Rouge and Matriarch laughed at the erotic and comical scene of Alvia kneading Bella's boobs. Rob didn't know what he had unfortunately missed, as he was still overwhelmed by the arrangements to welcome his distinguished guests on Sky Island. Meanwhile, the first unexpected guest arrived, in an unexpected way, and even Rob didn't know whether to laugh or cry about it. An icy island arrived over the knock-up stream, bringing with it a lot of guests, and amazingly settled over the white sea. I seem to have changed so many things that even if the moon fell one day, it couldn't be strange. Rob shook his head from these strange thoughts and turned into pure lightning before disappearing from the lovely street and appearing elsewhere.
Between the upper yard and Angel Island, there is an open area full of the white sea in the shape of a crescent.
In this place exactly, the icy island suddenly appeared.
Cough. I thought I was dead.
Ah. Wait. Why is this place so white?
Is this heaven? Turns out I'm already dead. For a minute I felt the fierce wind ripping my skin. I thought I was dead. Thank God I'm fine. Cough. Cough. No.
Is this place heaven?
What the hell happened? Weren't we in a mass fight against the Navy?
Where are our ships? Why is everything white here?
Ah. There is an island.
Why is this place so familiar?
Cough. What is this place and why is it difficult to breathe? Cough.
The pirates who lodged over the icy island looked at each other in confusion, unable to quickly absorb the situation, but the difficulty of breathing in this place further complicated matters.
Isn't this Skypiea?
One of the famous pirates from the New World pointed at the legendary island in front of them with utter astonishment on his face.
Ice Age.
Before the pirates react, they all turned into icy carvings associated with the icy island because of the Ice Age attack. They were still holding on to expressions of astonishment as they looked toward the Sky Island, which seemed to emerge from a fairy tale. I didn't want to end it this way, but I don't have a choice. It would be a problem if all these pirates spread in Skypiea. Freezing them once is the best solution. Kuzan was in a seated position as his hand that had turned into ice was fixed on the icy ground. This was the position of executing his famous move, Ice Age. Kuzan stood and looked toward the few Marines who had been fighting pirates with him earlier. Guard them until we find a way back down. Understood, Vice Admiral. Good dash. Kuzan's observation Haki suddenly sensed an extremely dangerous person coming. Before reacting, the air fluctuation in front of him, and then lightning sparks appeared and formed into the shape of a tall man. As soon as he appeared, Kuzan and those Marines with him felt an overwhelming pressure, as if the person who had arrived was not a human but a ravenous beast who could easily devour them all. Even Kuzan sweated as he looked at the man with a faint smile in front of him. Vice Admiral Kuzan, what a rare guest. How did you end up here? It's the famous Sky Sword then. I never expected to meet someone of your caliber in this far place from the earth below. Actually, my trip here is completely out of my control. As you can see, I was trying to subdue some pirates who wanted to enter Jaya below, and by coincidence, a strong stream of water blew up, and as you see, it brought us here. Sigh, isn't this accident a bit familiar? Rob couldn't help but sigh after hearing the whole story of the accident from Kuzan's mouth. This young man in front of him was the future Admiral, Akiji. He didn't look like a liar, which means he didn't use the rising upstream to get here on purpose as Rob initially thought. It was really an accident by coincidence. Let me guess. Sengoku ordered you to block the gold lovers from reaching Skypiea, didn't he? Although it's not your right to know what my fleet admiral commanded me, there is no problem in confirming it to you. Yes, I have orders to stop those greedy treasure hunters here, or I won't freeze these pirates behind me. Kuzan pointed behind him at the ice mountain that contained many frozen pirates. Of course, Rob could see them clearly, but he didn't comment on that. If Kuzan hadn't frozen them, he would have shocked them with his lightning and turned them to ashes. So fortunately for them, they only froze and still had a chance of surviving if they were strong enough. Since it was a coincidence that you arrived here, I will not object to your being here. Well, you have 1 day for you and your subordinates to leave. I don't like seeing your faces here, Navy. Kuzan kept his calm and nodded. There was nothing to do in the first place. He didn't have orders to enter Sky Island personally but only prevent others from entering, so he had no objection to Rob's insulting words. From the One Piece volume, a couple of weeks ago the clever people already realized that Sky Sword actually had an art store in Skypiea. An ambitious person like him wouldn't miss the opportunity to extend his influence to places where the world government couldn't reach. On the other side, a bit far from Skypiea, a candy-decorated ship with a black cloud containing thick thunder appeared among the white clouds and slowly rose until it reached the white sea. Mama. Finally, we got to this place without being harassed by the Navy. Zeus. Come back here. Hi, Mama. Zeus transformed into his original form and the huge ship began to fall on the white sea. When the ship was finally settled, it began to sail smoothly under the control of the Big Mom's sons. This place is really a miracle. Why do some of you look like you're suffering? Linlin looked at some of her weaker sons and daughters and was surprised that they were experiencing some respiratory distress. This situation appeared in the manga, Mama. The air here is much heavier than it is below, but they will adjust quickly. Ah, how did I forget that? Linlin looked toward her eldest son. Parasparrow seemed to understand his mother's intent even before she spoke. Don't worry, Mama, the ship is already heading towards our destination. This log pose which is used here in paradise already refers to the Sky Island. After a while of sailing, the Big Mom pirate ship finally docked in front of a real island. Does Sky Island have desert lands too, or am I just imagining things? Even her sons were staring at the front in confusion. The sea behind them was completely white, which indicated that they were at an altitude of 10,000 meters above the surface of the blue sea. But in front of them, the huge island was covered with sand endlessly, although some clouds and strange plants could be seen decorating the sands of the desert. This island reminded them of a specific place. but they couldn't relate this place to their current situation no matter how hard they thought.
Chapter 219, The Sun God.
Lean's observation haki covered a large area of Alabasta, which made her discover many shocking facts and information. Before that, when the Big Mom pirates first arrived here, they were shocked by the truth that there was a huge desert island in the sky, but what made them numb from the shock was the presence of the art store beacon in this place. This place is the Lost's Kingdom, Alabasta.
Mama. What a shock! How did this huge island reach the sky? Paraspero and several of his siblings were shocked after learning about the origin of this place. What?
No need to make such shocking faces all the time. Don't forget that we the Big Mom pirates live on a living island made of food and sweets.
What's so strange about having a huge sky island in comparison?
An embarrassed look appeared on Katakuri, Montdior, Paraspero, and others' faces. After all, their mother was absolutely right. The fact that this island was moved here could be described as a miracle, but as long as it relates to Rob, everything is likely to happen. The person responsible for Sandy Island's arrival at this place is definitely our ally, Sky Sword. Let's go to the capital of this kingdom. Since this is Alabasta, perhaps that ancient weapon is still here somewhere. On the other hand, the moment that Charlotte Linlin uses her observation haki to cover a large part of Alabasta, Rob quickly finds out about her.
A big smile appeared on Rob's face. Big Mom's pirates have also arrived. Interesting.
Rob turned away from the Marines and quietly left, but this time not back to Angel Island but the upper yard. Specifically, he was going to the new city, Shandia City, located at the edges of the Gold City.
Era RA. The Big Mom pirates are here? Wasn't Garp-san stopping them?
When he heard what Rob said, he didn't doubt it at all. There was no reason for such a high-status person to lie, let alone he was talking to himself, not caring whether they would hear it or not. This means that the Big Mom pirates managed to bypass Vice Admiral Garp and get here. I think Garp-san was worried about our safety, so he couldn't stop the Big Mom pirates.
It's basically because of us.
The Marines felt remorse after hearing Vice Admiral Kuzan's words.
Vice Admiral, isn't the Big Mom pirates and the Sky Rob Sword our allies? So I suppose their presence wouldn't pose a threat to this place, unless they want to break their alliance with the Sky Sword, right?
Yeah. The Rear Admiral who had spoken earlier nodded in confirmation. That was exactly what he was going to say.
A pirates' alliance? It's easy for pirates to betray each other.
But to betray someone as strong as the Sky Sword is to invite death into one's home. We have one day. Let's gather as much information as possible about the current situation in Sky Island and then leave this place.
Understood, Vice Admiral.
So this place with huge trees is Jaya 400 years ago.
What a strange world, made even weirder by the presence of the manga.
Kuzan shook his head from these thoughts and started moving, he and a few Marines, towards Angel Island. As soon as they left the icy island that came with them from below, the white sea in front of Kuzan began to freeze, forming a clear path towards the shore. Under the astonished gazes of the Scipians, Kuzan and the Marines arrived at Angel Beach. These Scipians gathered here to see the strange phenomenon when the icy island reached the Sky Island. When Kuzan arrived at Angel Beach, the god of Skypiea and his knights also arrived. Gonfal's expression had a sense of seriousness that he only had when he read the manga or got serious news. And that was exactly what happened. After all, it was the second time in their long history that people from the Blue Sea had reached Sky Island in this way. Even if it was an icy island, that didn't change the fact that a new island had arrived at Sky Island with a lot of people on it. Rob walked among the thick trees, enjoying the fresh air of the place. Since he knows this place well, it was not long before he reached his destination. In front of him appeared a huge wall covering the whole Shandia city and the Gold City inside it.
When the gatekeepers noticed Rob's arrival, they greeted him happily before opening the Golden Gate for him.
Rob was the benefactor in their hearts, the one who helped them recover their lost history and glory and also helped them establish their own thriving city near the thriving city in the distant past. Inside the art store, Shandia.
Rob was been talking with Shandia Chief Valgar some time ago. Author's note.
The name of the art store upper yard has been changed to Shandia.
I wanted to ask you about the origin of the gods your ancestors worshipped, those that appeared in your ancestors' flashbacks. The sun god, the rain god, the forest god, and the earth god. These four gods, what is their origin? And how did you begin to worship them? Rob noticed that his question was somewhat surprising to Valgar, but the latter quickly regained his composure and answered calmly. The gods we used to worship are true gods, although our ancestors didn't see the other three gods except for the sun god. Their existence is really real, and not just that four gods but many other gods. The sun god. Why only it? This is because the sun god is the last of the fallen gods. Valgar was willing to tell Rob these earth-shattering secrets because he knew that their fate was now completely linked to Rob. The more Valgar spoke, the more and more stunned Rob was. Amazement, shock, numbness, and then admiration, these were the stages of Rob's expression changes after hearing the story that Valgar told him. It looked very similar to what he saw in the beginning space after the disappearance of devils and the Devil's Tree, but with a few small differences. The sun god had an eternal enemy, the moon god. And the other gods also had their natural enemies. All this is recorded in the historical records preserved by our ancestors from their ancestors. Some of the stories I told you can be considered legends, but these legends are exactly what our faith is based on. We are all sure that the fallen gods will return one day. With their immense power, no one can stand in their faces, we can only worship them. Rob entered the teleportation room because he was ready to move to Alabasta for the Big Mom Pirates. But what Valgar had told him was still in his head. Sigh, what complicated world did you create, Oda? After Rob moved to Sky Island, Alabasta, another heavy guest arrived at Sky Island. An eastern dragon pierced the clouds and appeared above the white sea and made its way towards Sky Island. After 2 weeks of continuous flying, it didn't feel tired at all. Kaido-san. What if we run into that guy here? The dragon's pupils turned upward to look directly at the masked man who was standing on the dragon's head. The man in the black mask had black wings. This was King, one of the 3 calamities in the Beast Pirates, King the Wildfire. Next to him was a large, burly man with untidy blonde hair and small glasses. This person was also one of the calamities under Kaido's wing, Queen the Plague. And who was also one of the core members of the illegal scientific research team MADS that was dissolved 3 years ago by the world government. That person occupied a large part of the world using his strange stores. I heard he even occupied Marigoa itself. If we succeed in obtaining one of the ancient weapons, we will have the chance to try to challenge him, which is why Kaido-san came here the moment he heard the name Poseidon. Chapter 220, Kaido in Sky Island. You know how big the shadow that guy left on Kaido-san? That's why. King, don't mention him again in front of the captain. Warorororo. What did you say, Queen? It seems that even my most powerful followers have yet to recognize what kind of person their leader is, right? A raspy dragon's voice was spreading across this area of the white sea. Kaido's suffocating aura was increasing every second, making both Queen and King feel the suffocating pressure on them getting heavier as well. But when Kaido remembered that he might meet that guy soon, he really felt the tingling in the long wound on the dragon's back. His stifling aura disappeared and he became more cautious. Of course, he would become cautious. The wound on his back was the reason for making him cautious. After all, compared to the wound that Odin inflicted on him in the original story, the wound caused by Rob was much more terrifying. Rob almost split him in half vertically. When they saw this, both Queen and King shook their heads in sighs. The person they considered as the most powerful creature in the world when they joined his forces was no longer in that position, but rather a swordsman appeared and nearly cut him in half. If we can control Poseidon, who in this world will we fear? No one will be our competitor at that time. We just need to find out where the ancient weapon is and grab it before anyone else. Kaido and 2 of his strongest subordinates were close to reaching the Sky Island. While in another place, not far away, Big Mom has the same ideas as Kaido but for a different weapon. This time, I will only get out of here aboard Pluton. Broly, open the way to the mirror's world. Charlotte Broly prepared according to her mother's instructions and accomplished the task with ease. Soon a bright mirror appeared in front of everyone. After a few seconds, the desert area they were in became completely empty, as Charlotte Linlin and her children had disappeared into the mirror's world.
Now, they can literally go anywhere there is a mirror. The Big Mom pirates hid in the mirror's world while spying on the residents of Alabasta to gather information.
Upon arriving, Rob was surprised to find no trace of the Big Mom pirates' auras, as if they had disappeared into thin air.
It looks like the dream of finding Pluton has flared up again in Lin's head.
What an inconvenience.
Rob went to Cobra Palace waiting for the chance to grab the mouse's tail that the Big Mom pirates might let slip out of a mirror. Rob wasn't ignorant of the abilities of the Big Mom pirates. He knew that Lin's sons and daughters had unique and varied abilities. Charlotte Bruley and Charlotte Montdior are two examples in the crew who, with all-encompassing abilities like this, the first can cradle everyone into the mirror's world, and the latter can cram them into the book's world. Between the two abilities, the mirror's world ability was more effective at searching and stealth, so it wasn't difficult for Rob to deduce all of that. What a big day! Brother Rob came to visit our home. King Cobra was very happy with Rob's arrival. Every time he came, he would prepare a welcome feast because Rob was somewhat of Cobra's best friend. I am truly grateful to you regarding the transfer of precious historical information from Poneglyph and the Gold City to our Desert Records monument. Never mind, it was a well-deserved reward for you and your kingdom for the efforts you showed in suppressing the gold lovers who appeared in your kingdom.
Ah. I'm ashamed again, really sorry for that.
Why do you apologize?
Greed is a human instinct. Who in the world would see a treasure the size of a city and not lose his common sense because of greed?
The greedy people who appeared here are like a breath of air compared to the chaos below.
Ha ha ha. I can imagine that.
The so-called gold lovers are the people and pirates who were overwhelmed by their inner greed when they saw the golden city that Noland had seen in their flashback, and they caused chaos in trying to reach Sky Island. Some of them even managed to get there. Rob and his guild have been having an incredible headache because of them in the past 2 weeks. Of course, their appearance was expected. This wasn't a world of peaceful nice people. Even nice and peaceful people would become gold lovers when they see an undiscovered golden city waiting for their arrival to make them rich. For strong people, gold and wealth were not something difficult to obtain, but for the weak ones who were the most in this world, the temptation of Gold City was so enormous that it was literally irresistible. After all, the entire story of One Piece is built on the foundation of treasure and wealth. In the eyes of ordinary people, the Golden City is exactly that enormous treasure that can be compared to One Piece. Only the large number of mafias and pirates that Rob and his guild have thwarted in the past 2 weeks is proof of that. In the Four Seas, in the Paradise, and in the New World, without the help of the Navy and other guilds, whole worldwide chaos would surely begin. Fortunately, they managed to stop it before it even started. It looks like you're working hard to change your wife's fate. Rob noticed Queen Nefertari's slightly swollen belly and was a little shocked when he realized it was another change of plot.
Oh. Ah.
You can see that, yeah, we worked so hard to get a baby early, maybe that could make a qualitative change in fate.
Cobra and TT are embarrassed that Rob is the first outsider to find out.
Congratulations to you. I am happy for Vivi, who will have an older brother when she opens her eyes in this world. Regarding the Heaven's Gate port, I didn't open it when we should have opened it due to the problems caused by the Gold Lovers accident.
But don't worry, I have already opened some experimental points. Here, you can use this exclusive card to traveling.
Heaven's Gate port was supposed to open a week ago, but due to troubles caused by the Gold Lovers, Rob had to open it only partially.
Thank you, my friend, this card will really save us from a lot of trouble.
You know, we are missing out on a lot of resources that are only found in blue seas.
Yes, I know you have waited so long for this day to arrive.
At this moment, Rob noticed a small shadow in the big mirror in the royal hall, so he started secretly moving. It was time to get the mouse's tail out of his hole.
Grand Line, Water 7.
Oro Jackson majestically sailed through the water channel inside Water 7.
Wahahaha.
This card cancelled our previous trip, guys. Roger had in his hand a gold card with the logos of the Hunters Guild and the World Cruise Company. This wasn't a Hunter's card, but amazingly the same card that Rob gave the King Cobra. This card was the only way to use Heaven's Gate port right now when it hadn't opened yet. A week ago, when they were near Jaya, Roger's wife, Rouge, arrived at Oro Jackson via the teleportation room, and she gave Roger this card. Then she gave him the coordinates of the subport of Heaven Gate here in Paradise. which turned out to be in the middle of Water 7.
Roger turned his ship toward Water 7 again.
They also wanted to experience traveling by the legendary Heaven's Gate port. That wraps up this part of What If Becoming a Mangaka in One Piece World.
Thanks so much for listening.
As always, new parts drop every 4 days, so be sure to stay tuned.
Quick reminder. What If Reborn as Gohan in future timeline is now on hold, since we've caught up with the author. So now, I need your help picking the next project for the channel. I'm currently deciding between these 3 fanfics. What if Transmigrated in One Piece and becoming a Marine? What if Ichigo awoke his powers to save his mother? What if Transmigrated into a nightmare mode Dragon Ball world? Please vote in the poll and let me know which story you'd like to see next. I'll take the top pick and start working on that as the series next.
Also check out my Patreon channel for early releases of all the series, where you can find all the series released one day ahead of YouTube. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, share it with your friends, and please consider supporting the original author as well.
See you in the next one.